Hello, friends. We welcome you to Legal Breeze. Today, we will be discussing about the independency of the judiciary, particularly the supremacy of the Supreme Court in the context of um, vaccination case and the affidavit filed by the central government objecting the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. You may ask me, so what is the importance of this affidavit? Why should we worry about it? That's a good question. Certainly, I would like to answer you. But before we do that, I would like to request to all of you to go through certain important articles of the Constitution. Primarily, please refer Article 124, then 131, 141, 142, 143, and 144. These are all very important articles, in addition to 139, 32, and 136. Now, you all know that the Supreme Court of India, under the new Chief Justice, have taken certain historical bold steps in the process of protecting the fundamental rights of the billions of our citizens. Whether it is constituting the task force on the supply of national task force on the supply of oxygen. On the similar line, the Supreme Court wanted to streamline the supply of vaccination, because there are a lot of chaos in the policy pertaining to the supply of vaccination announced by the central government. Normally, the central government wants to insist, bypassing all the federal means. Even it wanted to advocate that one nation, one language, one nation, one religion, something like that. But in this case, suddenly, strangely, the central government withdraws from the supply of vaccination. This is an important constitutional mandate. It's not the charity done by the central government. It is its constitutional duty mandated by the Constitution of India under various provisions of this Constitution, read particularly under Article Part 3 and Part 4 of the Constitution of India. I can spell out the important articles for that, but before we do that, there is a suo motu case taken up by the Supreme Court. And there is an order dated 30th April of the Supreme Court asking the central government to file its response, because it suddenly says that the state governments have to compete in the world market and they have to get the vaccination on its own. Forget about the funding. Even the supply, the arrangement of purchasing also will not be done by the central government. It has to be done by the state governments on its own, in addition to the bearing the financial burden. Now, there are a few questions on this. First of all, our constitution promotes cooperative federalism. This government always speaks that they are promoting cooperative federalism. Now, I tell you certain things, then you can understand whether it is promoting cooperative federalism or coercive federalism. First they say that you have to purchase vaccination from the companies on its own, particularly from the two manufacturers available in India, but it fixes the quota for each state. What is this? Second thing, okay, the state governments believe that the state governments is successful in getting the supply of vaccination. But for granting the approval of the vaccination in India, power to grant the approval of the vaccination of India lies with the central government. Say, government of Tamil Nadu, presume government of Tamil Nadu successfully gets a tender for purchasing a good number of vaccination from Moderna or Pfizer. But till now, the approval for such a vaccination has not been granted by the government of India, because that is controlled by the government of India. So what is the usage in that? And normally when you speak one nation, one ration, all these things, but what happens suddenly? So this is the question, and this is only promoting chaos. If that is the case, okay, Even if I presume that the government is very bona fide, okay, then why do you announce from this date onwards the vaccination will be available from 18 to 44 age group? Who are you to say that? You are not granting the vaccination. You are not providing the vaccination. You are not supplying. You are not even financially supporting. You are not supporting logistically also. You are not supporting even with the emergency approval authorization process. Then why are you announcing this? And you want to take credit for all these things. And if there is a failure, you wanted to blame the state governments. I understand certain municipalities like Bombay municipality, Pune municipality have floated tender on their own. So those states and municipalities, those who are powerful, in the sense they are financially well-to-do, they can afford. What about the citizens belonging to other states? And fortunately or unfortunately, in India, there is only one citizenship. Citizens of India, only federal citizenship, union citizenship. So in the name of, in the process of tussle between the center and the states, citizens shall not suffer. This is what happening even between the standoff of the big tech companies and the government, in the process of so-called digital ethical rules and guidelines. It is the citizens, they are the users. The users are the losers in this. In this process also, citizens are losing. People are dying every day. So it is not the who's good, who's better. It is the central government and the state government have to work together, ensuring that the vaccination is available. So in response to the order which I have discussed to you, the government has filed around 218-page report in the form of affidavit. That's not a problem. But in para 24 of the said affidavit, the government is questioning the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. They say that it's a policy matter, Supreme Court shall not intervene. Okay, we agree. If it is a policy matter, Supreme Court shall not agree. Okay, why the Supreme Court has intervened? This is very important. Though normally it is the executive, if they are performing better, certainly Supreme Court will not interfere. The best intervention from the Supreme Court which has yielded the best result, the greater number of fruits, is the environmental affairs. Say example, when Chief Justice Anand was there in the Supreme Court, he intervened in the matter of CNGification, compulsory usage of CNG in Delhi. The then CM Sheila Dikshit has opposed this, fought against this order with tooth and nail. But later on, when the pollution level decreased, the air quality improved in Delhi, she is going and receiving the best CM award from the US-based company, from the US-based entity, as best environmental chief minister. Is it not shameful? You are taking the credit against the Supreme Court judgment, and that too you oppose that judgment. You have taken a vow that you will not implement that judgment. So this is the scenario. Recently also, see that there are a lot of inconsistencies. Say last time, when the Tamil Nadu government ordered a tender, they expressed their willingness that they can purchase PPE kits from China directly. Central government said that you can't do that. You have to do only through the central government, and central government will provide to you. But what happened this time? You are asking the states to purchase the vaccination on their own. Okay, this is okay. And in this particular case which I am telling you, the vaccination case, the Attorney General is very ethical. He doesn't want to appear because he believes that this is unethical, opposing the Supreme Court jurisdiction, opposing the intervention of the Supreme Court in this matter. Some other gentlemen have appeared, Solicitor General level officer has appeared before the Supreme Court, and he is questioning the intervention of the Supreme Court. Okay, but why don't you question the same intervention of the Supreme Court in the farm law protest? So there is absolute amount of inconsistencies. But critics are raising another concern now. Since the government has opposed the intervention of the Supreme Court, thereafter there is no further progress on this case. Unfortunately, the bench was headed by the learned Justice Sri Dr. Chandrachud ji. We come to know that he is not feeling well. He has been infected by corona. Myself, along with the subscribers and viewers and listeners of legal breeze and the entire citizens, we are praying Almighty to see that Justice Chandrachud is getting the speedy recovery at the earliest and he resumes back normalcy. Thereby he is rendering great service to this nation, because he has rendered great service to this nation in various cases, including Sabrimala temple, this the decriminalization of adultery and decriminalization of at least the protection of the rights of the transgender, protection of the rights of the persons with the disability. The list keeps going. So we pray to the Almighty Lord Arunachaleshwarar with the folded hands, requesting him to ensure the speedy recovery of Justice Chandrachud. We hope Justice Chandrachud will recover well, and meanwhile the Supreme Court should constitute a larger bench to deal with this matter, and Supreme Court raises to the occasion to ascertain its own independency so as to ensure the primacy of the rule of the law and the supremacy of the Constitution itself. Because the Supreme Court has gone under testing time, even in the times of emergency. Though it has failed in ADM Jabalpur case with the exceptional solitary dissent of Justice Khanna, but it has regained the same in Indra Rajnarayanan versus Rajnarayanan versus Indra Nehru, thereby striking down certain clauses of Article 329A. We strongly believe that the Supreme Court will come back in protecting the rights of the citizens and upholding the supremacy of Constitution, thereby protecting the independency of the judiciary. This concept of judicial review has been earned by hard work of various jurists such as Chief Justice Coke of England and Marshall of US, and such a great legacy has been followed by the India from the independence onwards. We hope good sense will prevail sooner. Thank you.
Stop button.